Hi, everybody. Welcome to another stream of Vampire the Masquerade Night Road, which I'm very excited about. And I have some updates, some information for you. So, Jason Hill, one of the editors for Vampire the Masquerade Night Road, you've probably seen him in the chat a couple of times if you've been in my live chat before. He told me, or they told me, that there is going to be an update coming today, this evening for me, but in the afternoon for the US. And it's going to fix that bug that I got with Agent Donati, with the Masquerade violation and getting the encounter twice and all that stuff. He let me know that. So that should be all taken care of. He just advised me that I should finish today's stream at the beginning of a chapter, so that when it updates, because it's going to rewind me to whatever chapter I was on in the beginning, that would just be the most prudent way to do it. So that's what I'm going to do. And I have my coffee, so I'm going to take a sip. And we're going to get started. I'm very excited. And hopefully everyone can hear me and the music isn't too loud, but just let me know. So recap what we did last time. We finished all of the courier missions for Prince Lettau, and he grilled us on our sire Julian, who we were kind of nice to Julian. We're kind of, I got this idea that maybe we're falling back into, our sire did abandon us, and that maybe he's charming, or whatever it was that charmed us about him when we first met him when we were still mortal. We're falling back into that, and that's probably not going to go too well for us, but I figure that's a fun way to roleplay this. And Prince Lettau sort of grilled us, and he believed that Julian diablerized another Banu Haqim named Isla that Lettau knew a long time ago. And we did. Apparently, we were the ones who diablerized her. And we were able to convince him that Julian didn't, but he's probably suspect that we diablerized her. And then he sent us on 3 more missions. I can't remember what the missions are exactly. One of them is going to Dallas, and one of them is going to like an abandoned Tremere laboratory, and then one of them is taking on the Nosferatu White that we met in the very beginning of the game. And I decided I wanted to do that first. So we were supposed to go pick up radar equipment from the Viper, from the Elysium, but it didn't happen. Instead, Lettau sent Alexander and Carlos to tell us to go somewhere and deliver something instead. So I don't know if we're going to deliver something and then get the radar equipment, how that's going to work, but we have to go over the California border for whatever reason. Hello, Michael Harmon. Rules of being a vampire. Okay. So let's get started. You're heading west this time, just over the California border, to the lawless region that was once called the Anarch-Free States. It's a frustrating drive since you could blast down Route 8 through Yuma in just a few hours, but that road will be crawling with cops. Instead, you'll have to drive northwest to avoid the SI, skirting Phoenix before you wind through artfully irrigated farm country worked by migrant labor until you hit the desert. The halfway point is just nearly empty sprawl for miles and miles. You'll have to be careful as sunrise approaches so you don't find yourself stranded. You ask yourself the same question as last time. Where can you find shelter during the day? You still remember the touch of the rising sun last time, and you'd prefer to avoid a repeat of that experience. Vampire Checklist 1, clothes from Hot Topic to daddy issues. That sums me up pretty good. Except there's no Hot Topic here in Germany, and I haven't shopped at a Hot Topic in like 20 years. I wasn't even sure Hot Topics were still a thing. All right, so we have a lot of options here. Now, we have great resolve and great survival skills. Yeah, we have 4 resolve and 3 survival. That's a great roll for us, so we should definitely remember that one. Let's see. Investigate local newspapers. We could do that one. We could ask Julian. Do I know any blood sorcery that will keep me safe? Help me break in before anyone notices. Let's, it's best to avoid settlements and the endless police patrols. I'll use my survival skills and patience to find a cave or some other shelter outside of town. That's the one I want to do. Yeah, we have no wits and probably even less streetwise. That's our investigation or academics. Yeah, it's just not as good. We are not that smart. We are just not that smart. It's unfortunate, so let's just do the first one. Hi, Memphis. You think about the best place to stop for the day. You suspect your best bet is right at the Arizona-California border. A town there has an IHOP, which means it's civilization. The drive is in fact quite beautiful under the moonlight, marred only by the frustration you feel knowing that you could shave hours off this trip. As dawn approaches, you check the wilderness outside of town. Fortunately, there's a lot of wilderness. You have your pick of caves and grottos. After checking a few sites, you take your BMW over some rocks to minimize the tracks and wedge it between two stony outcroppings, so it'll be invisible from the air, then crawl into a dry, dark cave far from sunlight. The prince is a lot nicer than the one from New York and LA. He's up to something. Yeah, it's very strange, or not strange, but odd nowadays in modern nights to have a gangrel prince, so I really don't know what his end game is here. You don't like Prince Panhard, Michael Harmon? As you get back on the road heading west, you once again scan your rearview mirrors for signs of pursuit. But it looks like you're clear. You head for the deep desert. Yeah, we're going to take on a Nosferatu if we can get the radar equipment. Traveling back into this desert feels like traveling back in time. You can almost smell the carpeting in Julian's old geo-tracker, the mold around the water bottles you left in the desert for migrants, so Remus could find them easily and not awaken fully. But now that ancient monster is waking up, and his rise will draw the entire Second Inquisition down on you. You check your maps, then turn off the main highway. Mesas rise up on either side of the road, black against the stars. You were expecting some kind of scientific way station, maybe just tents and trailers, but your address points you to the Desert View Motel. Its neon vacancy sign flashes in the darkness. There's a payphone on the road just outside the hotel. You know every payphone in Arizona, but not in California, and you instinctively memorize this one's location. But the receiver is off its hook, and there's blood on the outer case. Oh, goodness. I didn't know payphones were still a thing. Maybe they are out west. There's still a few laying around in the middle of nowhere. The western part of the U.S. is probably the part of the U.S. I know the least. I'm more of like a eastern girl. That's where I grew up. I'm going to say I'm not getting wasted out here. I'll keep moving, then I'll circle back once I'm sure there's no trouble. You gun the engine and get into the left-hand lane, accelerating smoothly away from the scene. A quarter mile up the road, you turn around, kill your lights, and drift back the way you came. From this direction, the neon lights of the Desert View Motel illuminate something, a body, face up on the asphalt. Still not leaving the BMW, you lean across the car's cabin to examine the body through the passenger window. Male, middle-aged, disemboweled by a knife or a claw. Then an engine roars to life in the parking lot, and two headlights illuminate your car. But the vehicle approaches slowly and indirectly with the stately grace of someone unconcerned with blood on the streets. A 1925 Rolls-Royce Phantom, Phantom 1, coupe black, rolls up to you, and the mirrored window rolls down. It must be an expensive-ass car. You still see payphones on occasion? I don't know if there's any here in Germany that I've noticed. There might be. I'm glad you finally arrived, Prince Lettau says. We've had some complications. The Rolls is stuffed with mechanical equipment, like Lettau is going to build another slightly smaller luxury car out here. What are those thick wires for? Holding up an antenna? And there's something wrapped in a tarp on the roof. There are a few other cars parked here, including a Fisker Ocean, a fancy electric SUV. I'm seriously trying to, seriously trying to rack my brain to see if I can remember seeing any payphones in the last, like, 5 years. Riga is perched atop the hotel's neon AAA sign. The eagle watches you incuriously as Prince Lettau steps out of his coupe. He's abandoned his white linen in favor of a black diesel jacket, heather gray tee, jeans, and heavy boots. He looks almost human. Riga warned me that my people were under attack, Lettau says as he drags the corpse away from the street to join a dozen others. Some are naked and filthy. 2 have decayed into husks. I was, as you can see, too late. How many people did we lose? Oh boy, this mission. I like payphones. 7, including the retainer who transferred new vessels to Alexander so kindred new to my city could feed, Prince Lettau says. Riga tells me that whites came out of the desert, wild and mindless things. I think Remus called them as he dreamed. My concern now is that my technical contact for this operation might be dead. Technical contact, you say? A specialist on ground-penetrating radar technology, Prince Lettau says. Mine is a small court, Huddy, and I do not employ every kind of expert, so I must look elsewhere. But I'm told he's the best. I am, Julian Sim says. He smiles at you, then seems to remember he's standing in front of an elder. He points at the corpses. What happened to all your guys, Lettau? Oh, Julian. We would kind of want to kiss him, kind of want to kill him. Maybe it's a gangrel thing? Yeah. If you diablerize another kindred, you get their powers and memories in LA by night. Nellie G tried this, and the GM said there was a chance that she would inherit some of their personality. Yeah, so the thing about diablerizing someone is if you successfully diablerize a kindred, you get part of their soul that lives in you. So you'll hear their voice in your head, maybe. You'll see flashbacks from their life. You will inherit some of their abilities, if they have abilities that you don't have, things like that. Haven't we? Hasn't there been enough diablerie? When will it end? I only diablerized one person, and that was before the game began. That's the background, so I don't really get a choice in that. How many voices do you want in your head? I want all the voices in my head. Oh my god, is that a Rolls-Royce Merlin engine? Julian asks. Dressed in a blue-gray coverall like when he carried water for the Camarilla, he pops the hood of Lettau's car and starts poking around. Mr. Sim, you're the one plotting to bring down the Masquerade from behind his laptop. Give me one good reason I should not destroy you, Anarch, Prince Lettau says. You need to stop saying destroy, man, Julian says. It lets everyone know you're a vampire. That goes double for you, Lettau, since you have a Dracula accent. Yeah, I'm sure he does. I'm sure he's supposed to be Slavic of some kind, but I can't do a Slavic accent. I do not have a Dracula accent. Yes, it's a Rolls-Royce Merlin engine. I learned to fly before I learned to drive. First, Julian says, you need me to set up the imaging equipment to find Remus. I want to stop Remus as badly as you do, which is why I'm here. And I really do know what I'm doing, unlike my child. Second, have you ever heard of a dead man switch? Every 2 weeks I type in a code, hiccup starting already, that prevents 50 gigabytes of Masquerade violations from going right to the LA Times and research institutes around the world. Third, you don't get to hear the third reason, because something rushes out of the desert, silent as an owl, knocks you onto the asphalt, and leaps on Prince Lettau. He hurls it away, clipping Julian so your sire falls backward against your BMW. The thing lands on its feet and knuckles. You almost have time to look at it, but then it rushes the three of you again, still moving so fast it's only a gray blur in the night, outlined by the hazy neon of the AAA sign. The gray blur leaps. Alright, so now we have an option here to protect Julian, the prince, us, ourselves, or the imaging equipment. I should probably pick the imaging equipment, but because if you guys weren't present here in the beginning of the stream, I basically said that the way I'm role-playing my character is that although her sire left her sire comes back into her life and she's starting to fall for him again. Whatever it was that made her fall for him when she was still alive, it's starting to happen again. So that's sort of how I'm playing it. Like, me, Huddy, would be like, no, that's stupid, don't do that. But that's the role-playing I'm doing with this. I bet Diablerie is how we go from Thin Blood to real vamp status in Bloodlines 2, perhaps a Blood Hunt. That's literally the only way we could. The only other way that we could go from Thin Blood to human is to go from Thin Blood back to human and then get embraced. That's the only other way to do it. Julian is real cocky, he sure is. Yep, I believe there was a statement on that for Bloodlines 2, or you can say a Thin Blood if you want. You can't stay a Thin Blood in Bloodlines 2. There comes a point where you must choose because the ultimate boss, the final boss, which I assume is Mr. Damp, you cannot defeat him as a Thin Blood. The Great Blur, the new villain for The Flash. Alright, we're going to protect Julian. Julian is still dazed, holding onto the side mirror of your BMW as he regains his feet. You jump between him and the Blur and pull your pistol. But its speed is incredible. Huge fists hammer your ribs, knocking you back into your BMW's passenger side door. Metal buckles and your ribcage crunches sickeningly, but you stay on your feet. The gray Blur comes at you again, then howls and stumbles past as Julian slashes it across the back with his karambit. He leaves a second sickle knife embedded in the back of its knee. You both get clear. Thanks, Huddy, your sire whispers. Then Prince Lettau drives his hand through the monster's back so the clawed fingers burst out its chest. The moment it's restrained, you recognize your attacker. The white from when you came across that migrant family just after your old CRX broke down for the first time. Oh, that guy. You recognize the hideous face of the Nosferatu and the dead, empty eyes of a vampire consumed by its beast. Hello, old friend, Prince Lettau says. You two are acquainted? Julian asks, keeping his distance as the Nosferatu hammers ineffectually on the prince. Modian is a child of Remus, Lettau says, a scholar and a visionary. You would have liked him, Julian. His shadow arts helped create the Tucson Elysium. But he ran afoul of Jasper Knowles, and the warlock stripped him of his humanity and turned him into this. What a shame. The prince grabs Modian's spine just above the heart and rips it out. The white topples forward and all three of you back away as it rots like a sped-up version of a rat left in the sun. In seconds, nothing remains but corruption and the reek of death. Is that what happens when you go feral? Yeah, you turn into a white when your beast totally takes over and there's no going back. Prince Lettau cleans himself up in one of the empty motel's bathrooms. It'll be dawn soon, he says. We'll rest during the day and then assemble the equipment tomorrow evening. His voice permits no dissent. You spend an hour dragging corpses into the motel's storage shed. No one is left alive, but Julian knows how to work a keycard coder. The Desert View Motel saw long-term use by Lettau's people, meaning one room is equipped for vampires. As the junior member of this endeavor, you get a sleeping bag on the floor while Lettau and Julian take twin beds. You awaken once around noon to find that Julian has joined you on the floor. When you wake up again, he's back in bed. Oh my. Okay, so now again we're having dreams or memories of Isla as we're sleeping. You dream of flying over the desert, matching lines on maps to sand-covered roads far below. The roar of engines, the smell of gasoline. Not dreams, memories. Isla, stirring in your blood. When you wake up the next evening, Prince Lettau is watching you from the armchair beside your cot, his fingers steepled. He seems to be calculating what to say. Huddy, he says, before you became a courier... She was the best little child a sire could want, Julian says, stepping out of the shower in a cloud of steam. He stretches and you watch the muscles slide around under his pale skin. He's showing off and it should be annoying, but, well... Distracted by Julian's banging around, okay, interesting choice of words, Prince Lettau drops his question. Instead, he crosses to the window and opens the metal louvres? I've never seen that word before. Installed to keep the light out. Prince Lettau peers outside. He's looking east again. You wonder if the beckoning, the mysterious calling that's pulling all the elders to the Middle East, has touched him too. No more creatures have appeared from out of the desert, Lettau says. But we need to act tonight. Let's retrieve the imaging equipment. You throw on your pea coat and join a freshly coiffed Julian and the Eagle Prince around your BMW. I can feel him moving out there, Lettau says, staring off to the south. He knows we're planning something. He knows I've wanted to destroy him for years. You should have destroyed him before Huddy and me fed all those Mexicans to him, you prick, Julian says, fiddling with the zipper of his coverall. Julian, the Eagle Prince says, you will locate Remus with the equipment Huddy brought. Once we find him, we will strike shortly before dawn. I have prepared a stake sufficient to pierce even his old hide. That easy, huh? Julian says. No, but your plan is ridiculous, convoluted, and dangerous, Julian says. And you have a better one? Absolutely, Julian says. We use Stonehenge to teleport him to Mesopotamia. Certainly hope that's a joke. Two wrongs do make a white. Fabulous. Oh, God. As I get older, Lettau says, I find that I have less patience, not more. Haven't you been following the news? Julian snarls. Those monoliths that no one can explain, they had a guy from the university claiming they were a Victorian hoax. You remember that from the radio. I know a great deal about the history of this land, Lettau says. The pre-Columbian people here did not make Stonehenges. No, Julian says. The Sabbat did. Lettau starts to bare his fangs. Elders don't like surprises, and they don't like games. Hear him out, I tell Lettau. Sometimes he has good ideas. Exactly, Julian says. So put your teeth away and listen. Before the beckoning drew elders to the Middle East and encouraged the Sabbat to chase after them, Sabbat sorcerers were experimenting with kinds of blood sorcery that even the Tremere couldn't imagine. They understood how to connect two places. Go on, Lettau says, eyes narrowed. They built something out in the desert, a copy of a place that has existed in the Middle East, forgotten for millennia. A fragment of a ruined city. The places are the same, do you understand? The stones out there, Lettau says, pointing out to the deep desert, and the stones of a city in the Middle East. Exactly, Julian says. And with a few words and a bit of blood, you can move between them. Or move something between them. Like Remus. Why fight something that's half a god? Dump him on the Sabbat on the other side of the world. Let them deal with him. An interesting idea, Lettau says. So you'll... No, Lettau says. Huddy, double check the equipment. I want to leave in 15 minutes. That is super interesting and not at all something I'm familiar with what they're discussing. So that makes me super excited. Sure, the lesser known desert Stonehenge. Ley lines? Yeah, I'm not sure. Ley lines, cairns, nodes. I'm not really sure what it is, honestly. Julian whines even as he's organizing the ground-penetrating radar equipment, which looks like a lawnmower with a tablet on top. Your scientific acumen means you handle calibration of the antenna. You try to ignore how hungry you are. Oh, how hungry am I? Really hungry? Yeah, I'm pretty hungry. Oh, I lost all my convictions. I can't stick to something. Lettau, whose brain does not quite reach the radar age, just checks the extra gas cans while casually deflecting Julian's arguments. Finally, the prince holds up his hand and says, Enough. Your idea is interesting, but first we need to find Remus. And to find him, we need to make sure we are safe out in the desert. Why are you worried? Julian says. You can just sink into the dirt. He can. He's Protean. He can do earth meld. I'm going to sink you into the dirt if you do not stop. You tune out the arguing. You've been thinking about that too. You might be away from the motel for more than one night. The desert sun will turn you to ash. And it's time to go. All right, got a bunch of things here. So, we're really hungry, so we're not going to do any blood sorcery. While I drive, I mend my wounds. How badly injured are we? Not that bad. I'll be with two people who can figure that out. My job is to drive steadily and take my car all over this rough terrain so everyone else can pay attention. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Don't feel bad. I had no convictions and a constantly poor relationship with the Camarilla. I kind of had a terrible one with Julian. You're just a loner, which is totally fine. You're an autarchist. It's a totally valid way to play Vampire the Masquerade. You repack the equipment once you're sure the antenna works. Then you take the lead in your BMW, serving as a forward scout, forging a path through these old desert roads and the winding paths around the mesas. You and Lettau stop multiple times to coordinate new routes. Your scouting buys the prince time to examine Remus's favored paths beneath the sand, and to look for an abandoned mine or structure you can use for cover. Finally, an hour before dawn, the Rolls-Royce skids to a halt. "We're going to start here tomorrow night," the prince says. He's standing next to an abandoned carton of water. The sandy, rocky ground looks churned and uneven. Hiccup. And Julian has found an abandoned mine. Nearby where we can rest for the day. This time you follow the Rolls-Royce, stopping after a few minutes in front of some rusted barbed wire. Grabbing everything you need, you get past the wire and the warning signs until you're staring at a deep mine shaft. Julian lowers a rope. In 5 minutes, the three of you are in a tunnel that leads away from the main shaft, providing you with total cover. You're in so early that Lettau and Julian even have a few minutes to argue about which plan to enact before the sun rises. You sleep with Julian's head against your chest. Oh, wow. Okay. And awaken racked with hunger, your skull aching, your teeth protruding involuntarily. But when you approach the Rolls-Royce, you find Lettau and Julian seated on a blanket, evidently in fine spirits. They're holding stainless steel mugs as they watch the last purple streaks fade from the western sky. "Ah, Huddy," Lettau says, holding up a mug. "Have you tried this concoction?" Julian hands you a mug. You smell the blood, sip it. A vague chemical taste, different from other preserved blood you've sampled. Stronger. You slam it down and your throat burns a moment, but the blood invigorates you. "I almost regret Dr. Kyle's destruction," Lettau tells Julian. "This blood is her creation?" "More or less," Julian says. "We've had some trouble sourcing the breed of sheep she used." Lettau studies the blood. It looks pitch black in the twilight. "And it's safe?" "Safer than going hungry and losing your mind out here," Julian says. Lettau raises an eyebrow at that answer and glances dubiously at the blood. "He's moving more and more," Lettau says as Julian preps the scanning equipment. I remember those ley lines in LA by Night from the Labyrinth. Wasn't sure what they are, though. Okay, so I talked about the ley lines, what they are, if you're curious, in my Eva video that I made about Eva in LA by Night. Also, I'll be making werewolf videos and mage videos that will go into more detail about what ley lines are and what they represent and how important they are to the rest of the world of darkness. Depending on if you're a werewolf, a mage, or a vampire. Not so much a vampire, but depending on if you're a werewolf or a mage, how important they are and what you can do with them. Mysterious tracks of energy within the earth, according to the... That's correct. Yes, that's correct. Yes, it's an actual real-world occult thing. Or theory, anyway, that everything is connected. But what it means in the world of darkness is a little bit different than the real-world definition. Wish you could romance Lettau and Julian at the same time. Polyamorous? Absolutely. I mean, they're all dead, and they've been dead forever. Once you're dead that long, it's like, there's no more rules, baby. Yeah, give it a go. Let us know how it works out for you. It would be fine. Everybody just needs a little love. "How can you tell?" your sire asks. "You're no sorcerer." "I sleep in the earth, Julian," Lettau says, "and I am old. There are things you learn once you're certain that you would have been dead had you lived a mortal life. Remus will waken soon and begin his long march east." "And drag every hunter in the world after him like a fucking Godzilla movie," Julian says. Riga drifts lazily overhead, catching the last of the thermals. "But that's why you hired the best," Julian says. "Even if you didn't know who I was before I showed up." He's watching the tablet attached to the scanning device. The screen shows maps of your and Julian's path through the desert back in 2007 or so. "We're going to start by getting a map of this whole acre," Julian says. "What am I doing?" Lettau says, frowning at the screen. He's obviously not happy letting Julian take the lead. I want you and your magic bird to find the helicopter I heard last night and make sure we're not being hunted, Julian says. And Huddy... Okay. First I bed my wounds. No, I'm too hungry. Am I still hungry? Am I still, like, really hungry? How hungry am I? Yeah, that blood didn't help me. I'm still really hungry. So I'm not going to mend my wounds. That's going to cost me way too much blood. I can handle the scanning... Can I handle the scanning? That's my dex and technology. Dex is 3. Technology is 1. Oh god, that'd give me 1 black dice and 3. Yeah, I don't have anything else that's great, so I'll handle the scanning. I'm familiar with the technology and nimble enough to keep the rickety pushcart pointed the right way. Yeah, usually they run between sacred sites or places of power. That's correct, Doug. And most of the time, when you come across those places, it'll be guarded. Well, it'll either be guarded by Garu, or it'll have been overtaken by black spiral dancers. Or there might be a mage messing around in there. Prince Lettau heads up into the hills, following his eagle. Julian watches him go, then says, "You know you can exploit his delusions, right?" What? Oh, sorry, that was Julian talking. You know you can exploit his delusions, right? What? Remember when Lettau asked you if I consumed Ayla? Your sire says with a self-satisfied laugh. How in the hell did you know about that? I'm genuinely curious, actually, especially if it means I can learn about holes in the Viper's security. Lettau thinks he's merciful, but he's not, Julian says. He also thinks he's keeping up with the times, but he's not. The Prince of Tucson made an obvious mistake asking you if I consumed Ayla, but not asking you if you did it. And he's starting to make another. Don't you see? He thinks you're Ayla, or that some significant fraction of her survived in you. For a second, the California desert fades and is replaced by one that looks almost the same on the other side of the world. But it's just a memory. You know because it's night there too. You shake your head. But that's impossible, Julian says. There are stories that the really ancient vampires, the Methuselahs, could survive even diablerie and take control of their hosts. But Ayla wasn't that old or powerful. Still, think about what you could do to Lettau if he believed you were Ayla reborn. He loved her, you know. Are you recommending that I seduce the Prince of Tucson? Interesting, meaning that I could get a real position in the Camarilla hierarchy. But where to begin? And risky, I know, Julian says. But imagine. He stops. You hear helicopter blades. Don't move, Julian says. Julian closes his eyes and you feel the power of his vitae. Then nothing. He's using the vanishing arts of your clan, but spreading his power out from his own body, blanketing everything in a blur of darkness. The sound of the helicopter fades and color drains from the cars, the desert, even the stars. The unmarked helicopter passes overhead. When it disappears behind a mesa, Julian relaxes and the stars come back out. We have work to do before Lettau gets back, he says. I like the whole boomer versus millennial thing Julian and Lettau got going on. It's cute. It is cute. Is Ayla's soul taking over? All these flashbacks are concerning. I don't think so. I don't think so. The flashbacks are a normal thing, as far as the lore goes. Now, if you're talking like really old vampires, like antediluvians, there's plenty of examples of antediluvians sort of just hanging out in there for a long time and then just being like, bam, and coming back and using the host body, like Tremere and Saula situation. You get to work pushing the cart around while handling the radar system. The idea is to scan the periphery, then spiral in toward the center, all while Julian makes records on his laptop. The work is technically complex, but not beyond your abilities. After several hours of meticulous work, you soon have a basic map of the ground beneath your feet. Awesome. Diablerie, bad. Lesson learned if you needed it. Sorry, I missed the part. Whoa, I missed the past few parts. Did you diablerize someone? No. Well, my character, the Banu Haqim, diablerized another Banu Haqim named Ayla. That's part of the background that I had nothing to do with. I also don't walk up to werewolves and slap them for no good reason. Oh, man. You guys are hysterical. Riga drifts overhead, huge and black against the moon, a few minutes before Lettau reappears. Well, Julian asks. I spotted a state police vehicle and followed it back to an old building covered in, I think, satellite dishes. The abandoned long-line microwave tower network, Julian says. He studies his tablet, then says, The good news is that we were able to generate a good map of Remus's movements. He's heading south, using the same tunnels he used when Huddy and I were feeding him. So you know exactly where he's going. I wonder what the Second Inquisition knows about his movements, Lettau says. I noticed that we have not encountered more of Remus's servitors. I'd love to stomp a few SI goons. I would love to do it. But nothing is ever pure, Huddy, Lettau says. Even war, so it should be. I don't want to kill a bunch of police officers. Yeah, some of them might work for you, Julian says. What is wrong with guarding one's investments? Lettau says. Or we could actually do something clever and ambitious, Julian says. The Sabbat ruins are just a few miles away. He turns to you. I am, of course, offering blood and instruction as payment. Think of everything I have yet to teach you, Huddy. You know that Julian is desperate to run this experiment, though you're not sure why. To prove his sorcerous power to himself, or to rivals or other sorcerers. But Julian never does something for only one reason. You understand, Lettau says, that I could simply insist that we do things my way. But a gentleman would never, Julian says. I think we should send Remus to the Middle East because it will completely confuse the Second Inquisition, and that's hilarious. That's funny. I might be more inclined to offer my assistance to someone willing to pay. I want money. I'm desperate for money. No, your Banu Haqim Diablo is part. Yes, I'm aware of that. I'm just saying that I haven't Diablerized anyone in the gameplay, but part of the Banu Haqim background is that they Diablerized someone the prince knew a long time ago, is what I meant to say. The vampire Diablerizes a werewolf. Will you get werewolf powers? Okay, so there's no Diablerizing a werewolf because they aren't vampires. They can certainly feed off of a werewolf and drink all their blood and kill them that way, if they could ever manage such a thing. Werewolf blood is extraordinarily addictive, though. They'll get addicted to it, and it also causes them to frenzy very easily, and there's other kind of bad side effects to drinking werewolf blood. If a donut Diablerizes a pumpkin, do you get a spiced pumpkin cake roll? Absolutely. That is confirmed in the lore. Lettau and Julian look at each other, then they just laugh. Do we actually need her help? Julian asks. I guess she can drive. I like the idea of paying for service, though, the prince says. It's very modern. That strange new paper money, very a la mode, right, Lettau? After a moment's consideration, Lettau says, For your assistance in destroying Remus, Huddy, I will pay you the princely sum of $2,000. I can beat that, Julian says. 4,000 once the work is done. Care to raise, Prince? No, but I doubt the work can be done, Julian, Lettau says. It's better to just destroy Remus. Kind of want to see the teleporting thing, honestly. Julian, what canine powers can you teach me? Yeah. Julian's offering more money than the other guy? I'll take you up on your cash offer. Let's teleport an elder. Let's do it. Lettau and Julian negotiate for a few more minutes to give the impression that they haven't handed the decision over to the junior member of the trio. Julian, Prince Lettau says, his voice quiet. I need you to understand how dangerous the situation with Remus is. He cannot be allowed to rise and begin his march across the desert. I respect the audacity of your plan, and I acknowledge that sorcerers enjoy testing their powers. But if this is some kind of a trick, or a harebrained idiot scheme that you don't think will really work, I will destroy you. I'm glad you're being honest, Lettau, Julian says, and I'm glad you respect me. I never said that. In a way, you see your younger self in me. Absolutely not. And because we respect each other, I assure you that this plan is sound. Hiccup. My people are waiting at the Sabbat Stonehenge for me to arrive. All of the work is already done, except for a brief ritual that I know exactly how to perform. We can do this. And you will take notes and learn much about the nature of sorcery, Lettau says. Exactly. I will have a copy of these notes, if you please, Lettau says. Julian winces, but he doesn't have any room to negotiate. Fine. I thought Karl Schreck supposedly diablerized one. What a donut? Or a werewolf? They're fighting over you. It's Twilight all over again. Okay. Which one is Jacob and which one is Edward then? Going once, going twice, sold to the guy you're flirting with. Absolutely. Plus he gave me more money. So that's a huge bonus for him. It's a huge check in the plus column. Lettau dumps a bunch of equipment out of the rolls, leaving what Julian brought with him, a thick metal suitcase plus a bunch of electrical and computer equipment. You head out first to certify Remus's present location and make sure that he'll pass near the ritual site. You set the tablet with the scans up on the dashboard and keep an eye on Riga while you take the BMW into the deep desert. The Rolls-Royce follows with a happy Julian and a troubled Prince Lettau. As you travel, you spot an oddly regular shape against one of the rocky hills. It's a Buick SUV with its lights off. A figure silhouetted against the stars is setting up some kind of imaging equipment. Night vision goggles? You spot a Phoenix badge reflected in the light. That's the SI's secret task force within the 111th Military Intelligence Brigade. You've encountered them before. They're looking for you, and you just don't have time to deal with the fight right now. Circling around will waste time, but if you keep going straight, they might note your position. One other possibility is to take the BMW over some dangerously rough terrain. It's a straight path and won't slow you down much, though your BMW's undercarriage won't like it. Riga swoops past overhead. If you point that SUV out to Lettau, he can send Riga to deal with the intelligence agent, though the prince won't like risking his familiars. We could probably handle this. Maybe. I take my BMW over the rough terrain. I can fix the undercarriage later. Especially if I'm getting $4,000, I can fix the undercarriage later. A lupine. Did Karl Schreck diablerize a lupine? I actually do not know. I do not know. You take the BMW over the jagged rocks, wincing with each crunch. But you don't think the agent can see you. The Rolls accelerates past you and takes the long way around the cover of a low hill. You arrive at the ritual site a few minutes ahead of the Rolls-Royce. The ruins don't look much like Stonehenge. They're more like the Apadana in Persepolis, except shorn of ornamentation and in an even greater state of disrepair. Little remains except a few tumbled pillars and slabs. You could have driven right by it and not recognized it as artificial. And if Julian is right, it's doubly artificial, a meticulous copy of an actual ruin somewhere in the Middle East. Only when you get close do you see some writing on the slabs. The Sabbat must have been exacting. The cuneiform stretches for hundreds of lines. There's a trailer park nearby for Julian's people. You park, get out, approach the trailer. They're all dead. Great. Look at the size of these fang marks, Julian says, examining the dead woman with the cold curiosity of a botanist checking for aphids. And this was done recently, 3 nights ago, I'd say. Damn, that does not smell good. So Remus has already been moving around here, Lettau says. He checks his maps. He'll be back soon. Later tonight, Julian says. I need to get to work. The artificial structure here must match the one in the lost city of Washukani as closely as possible. Some of the pillars have iron rings bolted onto them, and Julian starts running guiding wires through them. The stones look solid, but you know that any shift in their weight will disrupt Julian's ritual. The channels carved in the stone between the cuneiform are probably from moving blood around. Your sire pops a laptop open, then starts running wires from a small suitcase to your BMW's battery. Hey! How do the guide wires work? The dynamic tension holds up the left pillar of the gate, Julian says. Otherwise, it might sink. But even still, this place doesn't exactly match the real ruin of Washukani. For one thing, the chemical composition of the stones is different. I generate an EM field to fake it. You check the laptop. It displays a continually updating 3D map of the electromagnetic field that suitcase is putting out. But the rest of the work is old-fashioned sorcery. Very old-fashioned. This is Hurrian cuneiform, Julian says, pointing to the writing carved on the rocks. Where's the blood goes, Lettau says. I knows that much. You also know not to distract me once I start, Julian says. The sorcerer runs a metal cord from one of the fallen pillars to the Rolls-Royce, then hops in the car. To move the pillar, but he hesitates, then gets out and goes back to work on the cuneiform. I should bury the dead? I could. I check the cars. I could bury the dead. Sure. Why not? What else do I have going on? You still on your first car? Dear Lord, I'm a spendthrift gangrel. This is my first car still, yeah. I upgraded it, though. As much as I could, anyway. You say Washukani, and I feel like Gesundheit. I have no idea. I'm saying it like in a really over-exaggerated American accent because I have no idea how to pronounce it. I'm literally pronouncing it phonetically. I can bury the dead. Sure, why shouldn't I? You drag the bodies away from the camper, then you and Lettau pile stones on the 5 corpses. It's somber and unpleasant work, but finally the two of you head back to the ruin. A cold wind starts to blow. You and Lettau follow it to its source. The place between 2 pillars shows no stars, no horizon, only darkness. There's the real city, Julian says. That's where Remus is going. His fingertips are black with blood. The laptop continues to pump out EM field data. Remus is coming, Lettau says. I can feel him in the earth. Yeah, I know, Julian says. In about an hour, he'll be close enough to smell blood. I'll drop some on the sand, and he'll come wiggling towards us like a big undead shark. When that happens, I want you and Huddy. No, Lettau says. I feel him beneath us. Julian looks west toward the low hills. He's already coming, he says. I'm just about ready, but the earth beneath Lettau's feet explodes in a shower of rocks and sand. Holy crap, here we go. When you see again, Remus has risen out of the earth, twice the size of a man, with bat-like ears and a head like a shattered and badly resembled Neanderthal skull. He rises naked and filthy against the stars, holding Lettau aloft in one taloned and bloody hand. The eagle prince roars, and his fingernails become claws. He slashes at Remus's face, ripping black lines in the flesh, and the huge Nosferatu stumbles against one of the pillars. No! Julian cries. The icy wind sputters to a halt. The struggling elders have snapped one of the wires, looped through one of the metal rings embedded in a stone, causing it to shift out of place. The 2 elders crash to the earth, knocking you back. I need to protect the prince. Are the cars okay? I'm not getting stranded here. Julian, what am I doing? Julian doesn't always react well to surprises. The whole situation quickly goes to shit. Lettau takes the shape of a huge golden bear and tears at Remus's throat, while the Nosferatu slams him into the ground so hard that the jelly in your eyes jiggle. Ugh. Blood runs freely from Julian's hands as he paints hieroglyphs on the stone, then switches over to Greek letters. You think you recognize the improvised spell he's trying to work, but the stone is an inch out of alignment, and the rift only sputters and crackles. Get him away from the gate, Julian shouts. The 2 fighters almost trample you as the golden bear pushes Remus back. You regain your feet and try to figure out what to do. You don't dare join the battle. The elders would rip you apart in a second, but you might be able to rally Lettau to beat Remus down and buy Julian time. Sparks blast out of the suitcase. The laptop it's attached to falls, but it remains open, and you can see the 3D model on the screen spiking wildly. Julian curses. He's been watching that laptop and now he can't see it. And you're pretty sure touching it would electrocute you. You might be able to read off the data he needs or possibly fix the short circuit. Another hammer blow shakes the earth as the elders fight, and the fallen pillar jumps a quarter inch. No, 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 Julian cries as the rift grows even more feeble. He takes a step toward the rolls, once again thinking about moving the fallen pillar, but he's unwilling to leave the cuneiform carvings as his blood flows into them. All right, now we get to make a roll. Bring me my brown trousers. Stake the white? I'd love to. I don't think I can. Alright, so, like I always say, resolve. We have 2 in drive, don't we? Or just have 1 in drive? We still only have 1 in drive. God, intimidation and survival we're really good at. Okay. First I mend my wounds. No. Death and athletics. I climb nimbly onto the top of the stone and sling ropes through the iron loop. That will let me move the left pillar back into position, or I can get in the rolls and grit my teeth to hold on and drag that fallen pillar out of the way. That's what I think we're going to do, because resolve is definitely our best chance here. Yep. Although I like the climb nimbly thing. Let's try getting in the rolls. I can move the fallen pillar, you tell Julian, but I should move it all the way, or yank it into fucking Nevada for all I care. Just get it out of here, Julian shouts as the elders exchange deafening blows. You jump in the Rolls-Royce. This machine has an airplane's engine, but no power steering, so you get both hands on the wheel and hold on. The engine roars and the tires scream, blasting sand. You wrench the heavy wheel, rocking the car back and forth, trying to move as Remus and Lettau tear each other to pieces. The Nosferatu slams Lettau into the ground, showering Julian with fragments of stone as he tries to finish the ritual. You see him cursing in Chinese, but can't hear anything over the roar of the elders. Then suddenly, the huge car rolls free, dragging the fallen pillar with it. You did it. You're considering what else you can do with the car. Could you ram Remus into the gate? When the Nosferatu picks up Lettau and flings him right into the car's engine block. Are you okay? You ask the prince. Fine, he says. His skull is torn open. A little stuck. Hold on, I can get out. Just give me a second. Okay, everyone, Julian says, grabbing 2 sparking wires. It's time to duck. You turn and spot your sire, white with blood loss, holding up 2 ends of a striped wire. Electricity crackles between them. You drop behind the steering wheel and Lettau drags himself to the far side of the ruined car just as Julian brings them together. Ooh, I got an achievement. Door to Beyond. Use Stonehenge to teleport a vampire to Mesopotamia. Nice. For a horrible moment, you exist in 2 places at once. The California desert and a buried city somewhere in Mesopotamia. No, not quite 2 places. They are the same place. Identical in every way, made identical by the unnatural power of Julian's sorcery and the sacrifice of his blood. Then you snap back to California. Remus howls as some invisible force drags him between the 2 pillars. Even his inhuman strength cannot resist the sorcery, and he's pulled forward. He vanishes with a blast of eye-searing blackness. When you can see again, Julian is face down in the dirt, indistinguishable from a corpse. Oh my god. Lettau shrugs out of his tattered diesel jacket, revealing an equally tattered t-shirt, and sits down on a rock to mend his torn flesh. The standing stones are blackened. The fallen pillar is gone. So is Lettau's Rolls-Royce. At least your BMW is still there. Computer parts are everywhere. Julian, still face down in the dirt, starts to laugh. I did it, he shouts. It worked. Oh, Lettau, my harebrained idiot scheme that I didn't think would really work actually worked. Can you believe it? Any celebration or analysis will have to wait. Julian is pale and wasted from the sorcery he worked. Lettau just fought one of the few vampires in the Southwest tougher than him, and this all feels a little bit above your pay grade, honestly. You have a headache. Not just from hunger, just a normal, blinding headache, like when you were alive. The 3 of you check out the trailer. Per Julian's instruction, it's been light-proofed. You can stay here for the day. Julian starts filling a notebook, but he has only a few minutes until the sun crosses the horizon. That was awesome and super fun. Get in the Rolls, leave them. Yeah. Sweet new ride, question mark? I should have just taken his Rolls Royce and just GTFO'd. Time travel, other dimensions? It's not really another dimension. It's another place. Ugh. Oh, God, I just splashed water on myself. If they really were ley lines, the ley lines are interconnected all throughout the earth. And in certain places that you could call sacred sites, they come together at a junction. And those are where these, you could say Stonehenge, where these ancient peoples built these cairns, built these monuments to them. So that's where you would be able to manipulate places, is what it is. You drive back to the Desert View Motel. God, I splashed water all over myself. Well, Mr. Sim, it's been a pleasure, Prince Lettau says. But... Oh, that's all, Lettau says. I have been trapped in one place for decades. This sojourn was a risk, and maybe an expensive mistake, but I enjoyed it. Do you have my copy of your notes? You won't understand them, Julian says, handing the Eagle Prince a fistful of photocopied notebook pages. Someone will, Lettau says. He glances your way. Are you going to be safe with this Assamite? He won't rob you? I would never dream of it, Julian says. You can follow me, Huddy. He starts up his Fisker Ocean. On the road, Julian says, You did good, kid. As if he hadn't been embraced 5 years before you. What do you want for doing good? I believe you promised to pay me. Yeah. Yep, I believed you promised to pay me. I did, Julian says. There'll be an envelope with $4,000 waiting for you when you get back to Tucson. Now let's get back to civilization. The rest of the trip yields no surprises. Julian's Fisker Ocean takes off before you enter the city. You head for the Viper. I'm sure if I said, I did it just to help you because I want to be your best friend. But I like money. More than any, my number one romance in any game is money. Money me. Money now. Yay, we did it! Vampire threesome time! No. The Viper is still shut down. Graffiti covers one wall. When your headlights slice through a nearby alley, shining eyes reflect the light, then whoever was hiding there scatters, fleeing deeper into the city. When you step out of your BMW, broken glass crunches underfoot. Riga is watching you from a lamppost. She calls softly. Yeah, because that's if we did a vampire threesome, he would just have his bird watching. So awkward. The interior echoes with your step, like the tomb of some forgotten emperor. The lights are out, except the red glow of emergency exits and some track lighting around the bar. A few armadillos snuffle around the entrance to the kitchen. Lettau is seated at one table, reading Olga Tokarzuk's Biguni. That was good. I feel like I did that really well. A pile of turquoise jewelry is scattered across the table. Nailed it. Huddy, Lettau says, setting the novel down when you enter. His voice is soft. He seems lost in thought, contemplating Remus perhaps, and the beckoning that calls to elders to faraway lands. After a few seconds, the prince says, Why don't you sit down? We have some things to discuss. They concern events in my past, and your future. He knows what I did. I'm fucking dead. Time to run. I scan for exits and get ready. You look around and spot Dove running your way. You tense, ready to fight or flee, but the sewer rat is waving to get Prince Lettau's attention. Boss! Dove shouts, skidding to a halt beside the prince. Lettau doesn't startle. He only glances calmly toward the former courier. I just spoke with Sister Moore, she says. She dealt with that health inspector and figured out who was controlling him. They're all ours now. We can reopen. Lettau jumps to his feet, scattering jewelry and dropping his novel. Then... Now, like right now, and we need to. Our budget is down to... What we owe Huddy, Lettau says. Pay her, then call someone to play a live show tomorrow night. I don't care who. Someone loud. No cover charge for the rest of the week. We'll make it back in drink sales. And Lettau is off to make plans, monetary fears temporarily overriding whatever very final conversation you expect he planned to have with you. A few minutes later, one of the retainers hands you a wad of cash. By that time, the Viper is already filling up again. Another job done, you suppose. You return to your parking garage and park the BMW. You check your earnings from your partial stake in St. Basil's Hospital, then spend $155 on upkeep, maintenance, fines, and fees to perpetuate your twilight existence. Yay! Look at that. Look at that. Look how good we are. We're the best. We rock. Getting that Huddy money. Yes, honey. Give me that money, honey. All right. Nice. All right. We're a mess, though, right? We're starving. We're really hungry. The hunger is strong enough to distract you. We're injured. I'm pretty sure our car got some bumps to the undercarriage. Yep. God. All that money. We got 12,000 bucks, and I'm just going to have to spend it all. With the Viper closed, look for another night killer to hold my social abilities. All right. All right. First, we need to mend our wounds. That's the very first thing we have to do. Click. Yeah, now we're too hungry to do anything else. I spend some money to acquire blood. And I mend that other wound. And we should just be at, what, 2 hunger? Yeah. I wish I could just go hunt. I wish I didn't have to spend money to buy blood. I wish I could just go hunt. God, our stats are garbage. Garbage stats. Okay. I need to fix the car, right? Where do I fix the car? Is it fine motor skills? You tune the BMW's radio to hear the news. This is Melpomene Chen, and you're listening to Mel at Midnight. Exciting news out of the Santa Fe Institute, where a research team claims it has used complex quantum teleportation to teleport an entire hemoglobin molecule. This kind of teleportation was first achieved in 2019, but that involved only moving the quantum state of a photon, not entire molecules. The University of Vienna, like where all the Tremere are, and the University of Science and Technology of China, which led previous research into complex quantum teleportation, have not been able to confirm this result. Nonetheless, plans are already in development to adapt this technology for medical purposes. How did that get out to the media? Seriously, I want to repair my car. Fix my car, please. The old mechanic says 200 bucks. Nice. Take it. Take it. All right. Now for fun stuff. I don't want to get a new car. I like my BMW. I don't want to get rid of it. I'm keeping it. Keeping it. I don't really want to go to the pawn shop because she just has a really expensive gun and stuff, and I don't feel like using it. I could get a better Haven. I'd be spending a lot of money to get a better Haven, but I don't really want to. I don't feel like I need to. So, let's try and up our stats a little bit. All right, we got 13 points here. Cost us 9 to up our stats. I don't have enough to up stamina. Because that's the only one I'd really want to up, is I'd want to have full stamina just so I can do something else besides relying on resolve all the time. Sorry, I'm going to just be messing around with this stuff because I want to, I just want to be a little bit better at the things that I'm doing. I want full obfuscate, please. Yes, please. I want it. You need more secure and well-appointed haven before you can master this level of obfuscate. Fine. Fine. I'll get a better haven. That's what you want, huh? God damn it. Why is it so expensive? How much is the penthouse apartment? The penthouse apartment is cheaper. It's $5,000. I don't want to spend $5,000 on a haven. I don't want to. Not right now. I'm not ready for this. I'm not ready for that kind of commitment. All right. All right. Let's then get another dot and blood sorcery. Let's do that. What? You need more well-secured appointed haven. You can master level blood sorcery? Really? I absolutely have to get this haven? Oh no! It's forcing me to get a haven or I can't up my level of blood. Fine. Fine. I'll buy this stupid penthouse apartment for $5,000. Awful. You should see the sweet new rides on offer. No, I'm good. I'm good with my BMW. Get the penthouse apartment, for God's sake. There's less paperwork than you expected, but after a few hours spent securing various shadow identities under which you'll be able to access the penthouse, Anna hands you your key along with a laminated book that explains the security system and protocols. You move in that night. It will take weeks to furnish the new apartment properly. Still, with this level of security, you are now free to plumb the deepest depths of your unnatural powers. Well, thank God. Can I please have the final level of obfuscate now? Please? Thank God. Alright, obfuscate increased. Good. Alright, don't mind me while I just mess around with some stuff. Up my strength. And that leaves me with 2. So I don't know what else I could get. Yeah. Alright. Alright, I have some stats. I feel good about it. Now. Excellent. Alright, let's... How much money do we have left? Like 6,000? Alright, let's spend a little bit more money. Get a little bit more blood, just so we're all good to go and we're feeling great. And now let's go to Dallas to pick up whatever information Despine has. I just need to stop at the Viper first to get her address. Now, remember, like I said, I need to stop this at the beginning of a new chapter. So this is probably going to be the last one I do, and hopefully I'll be able to finish it in an hour or so. It's like life and unlife has expensive. I know, it's so annoying. It's awful. Chapter 10, The Cinder Block. Tucson, Arizona, night of December 14th, sunrise 7:17 a.m. You hop in your BMW and drive from your penthouse to the Viper. You tune the BMW's radio to hear the news. Instead, you get an interview. I don't have any more Masquerade violations, right? I need to check because I'm super paranoid about it. No. Good. Good. About 4 deaths linked to this nightclub, including Greg's suicide and the apparent murder of a police officer. Well, you say linked, Elaine, Melpomene says. But what kind of link is there? Then there was the attack on the migrant camp, all the news about that genetic research facility, and what about the sudden dissolution of 2100X, or... yeah, 2100X. You recognize that voice. It's Elaine Corbeau, the bookstore owner. 21. A global conspiracy to shape our lives in the year 2100. Greg and I heard someone talk about that once. He said that we all thought about the year 2000, but no one is thinking about the year 2100. Isn't that weird? It's like we can't imagine a future for our race anymore. It's like someone took all those plans we had for the future. Where did they go? That's about all the time Well, why can't we think of the future anymore, Miss Chen? They already took our past, our heritage, and they're taking... As always, Alan, thank you for your time. Mel at midnight starts talking about movie star gossip. Okay. You check the local news over and over before you head out, because though you have a long trip ahead of you, the roads just get more and more dangerous, and you can feel a change in Tucson. Agents of the Inquisition are everywhere. So you approach carefully, ready to take your BMW through the nearest gas station parking lot to get it away in case there's trouble. You're half expecting to find a crater where the nightclub used to be. Instead, it's hopping. Even at this early hour, the parking lot is so packed that you can't even get valet parking. You stash your BMW around the corner and hurry inside so you don't get towed. The new bouncer has no idea who you are, but you just push past him and signal Alexander. I think we're celebrating the end, Alexander says over the Goggle Bordello cover band. So you are allowed to reopen, you ask? Not really, Alexander says. But we have paid off a few people for now, and we need money. And Lettau, he is worried. I think that the crowds reassure him. Both of us grew up in the countryside, you see. So much silence. We crave crowds when times are bad. Do you have anything for me? You ask. This time you are picking up, not dropping off, the retainer says. His breath is particularly rank this evening. He hands you the address of the Cinder Block, Despine's jazz club in Dallas, and the key to a studio apartment a block away from the club. Despine is a waiting courier. Tell her Lettau sent you and to give you the information he needs. That easy, you say? I doubt it, Alexander says. He smiles, showing his little gray teeth. Disgusting. Already over? Yeah, that was I don't know if it would have been different if we had just gone to face him head on, so. I'm not usually into the visual novels at all, but this has been interesting so far. I agree, it's been an excellent choose your own adventure story. It looks like we're saving the best mission for last this round. Are we? I don't know. You need to keep away from El Paso, so your best bet is to head north out of Tucson, then risk US 60 past Lubbock and Abilene. After that, it gets easier. Texas is a spiderweb of minor roads, so you can remain flexible if you need to improvise. You don't want to approach Dallas from Fort Worth, too much police coverage, but that still leaves you with a lot of options. You ask yourself the same question as the last two times. Where can you find shelter during the day? You did fine last time, but who knows what awaits you on the road east. So last time we did avoiding settlements again. We did that before. So let's do something different this time. I don't want to use my abilities, because I don't want to get hungrier. Let's ask Julian. Why not? You get in touch with Julian's contact, Nadia, in the restaurant next to Fine Motor Skills and explain your situation. Unfortunately, she returns after a few minutes with bad news. They can't take the chance on you. You'll have to find some other way to reach your destination safely. Ouch! My feelings. Yep, let's just do what we did last time then. You once again contemplate the best stop for the day. After some deliberation, it seems like your best bet is some place called Roswell in New Mexico. Sounds dull, but they have plenty of motels. The drive east is boring, full of winding country roads and Texas roadside kitsch. As dawn approaches, you check the wilderness outside of town. The good news is that there's a lot of wilderness. The bad news, the first time you turn off a paved road to check a likely campsite, you spot a police SUV crouched behind a rocky outcropping. The next time you try, a white pickup with a park ranger decal is waiting for you, and the man with the rifle sitting in back does not look like an ordinary Texas park ranger. This is bad. The SI is wise to your tricks, and by the time you get back into what passes for a town around here, it's close to dawn. Great. Great. Let's do... Our intelligence isn't bad. I don't have much time, but I use my tech skills to rig up a portable shelter inside my car. Let's try that. Putting together a portable shelter isn't hard. You always keep a few double-lined body bags in your BMW in case of emergencies. The trick is assembling one that'll absolutely not draw attention if you park on the side of the road. You do plan on living forever, after all, and getting dragged out of your tarp by some curious state trooper to burn in the midday sun would ruin that plan. You spend several hours rebuilding and reinforcing your portable shelter, making sure everything is ready. Then you do it again so you have a spare. You once again contemplate the best stop for the day. After some deliberation... Oh, we read this already? Okay, so the first thing you do is look for a place where your BMW won't get noticed. There's no shortage of fields, empty lots, and quiet alleys, but it's hard to find a sufficiently out-of-the-way place. Finally, you spot an abandoned lot where you can hide your BMW behind a truck. But it's getting toward dawn. Hurrying, trying not to panic, you check your kit one last time, shining your phone light all over it. Light shines through, there's a hole. You patch it up with duct tape, but you fear there might be other problems. Unfortunately, the sun is rising. You crawl inside and seal yourself up just as the sun crosses the horizon. The pain in your leg is immediate and blinding. Hissing with surprise, you roll over, using your body to cover the gap and protection. Then you wiggle down into the cabin of your car to make sure you won't be burned again. It will be a restless and uncomfortable day. Ooh, did we get hurt? Are we injured from that? Ooh, suffered aggravated damage. Ouch. As you get back on the road heading east, you once again scan your rearview mirrors for signs of pursuit. You keep seeing headlights behind you that fade away whenever you look at them for too long. Not all violations of the Masquerade are obvious. You fear that your need for shelter during daylight hours has allowed someone, a hunter, a journalist, a curiosity seeker, to piece things together, to make the leap from suspicion to certainty. You hope they won't be waiting for you in Dallas. I hope not. Ooh! Missed a whole bunch of chat here. Okay. Henry Dorset. Sorry, like my eyes are starting to fail me here. Henry Dorset, ich habe keine Ahnung, was Single-Player Adventures ist in HTML. Ich habe keine Ahnung. Ich nie gehört. Julian is an unhelpful ingrate. Yeah, we pissed him off somehow. Alien vampires? Alien vampires would be bitchin'. God, my eyes are terrible. I gotta go to a doctor. Can vampires stay awake in the daytime, or is it automatic that they go to sleep? Usually it's automatic that they go to sleep. It's not impossible for them to wake up, though. Especially, like, Tremere, who have certain rituals called, like, wake with evening's freshness and things like that. They can wake in times of danger. Or anything else. I love Protean 2 for this game. So soothing. It's a fight with willpower. Eventually you'll run out and fall asleep. Yeah, you will. You can only stay awake so long as the dice are on your side, honestly. As you get back on the road heading east, we already read that. Okay. Some part of you was expecting a sci-fi apocalypse when you hit Dallas. Roadblocks, burned out cars, black and empty skyscrapers. But everything you see is eerily normal. The wide open highways full of white trucks, tree-lined upscale avenues, and trash-strewn industrial boulevards look unchanged since your last visit. You approach from the north, crossing under the President George Bush Turnpike, and then scanning for a tail. Nothing. Is there really a turnpike called the President George Bush Turnpike? And is it named after George W. Bush or his father, George H.W. Bush? Is it named after the junior or the senior? You only know Despine by reputation as a socialite and ghoul shaper, but you doubt the aesthete will hand over her information for free. And it's not like Lettau sent you with a suitcase full of cash. You might be here for a few nights, just wheeling and dealing. Once you're sure they're not being followed, or you're not being followed, you head to your studio apartment. It's grubby and run down, but secure, with reinforced curtains and deadbolts on the doors. You're just getting ready to scope out the cinder block when you hear movement outside. Huddy, it's me. Julian. Yeah, thanks for helping us find somewhere to stay. We got aggravated damage hiding out in our car. You check that the chain lock is secure, then crack the door. Cool town, huh? Your sire says, slipping inside with a friendly smile. You're not sure how he did that. His black and white berserk hoodie is covered in red stains. Telltale would never make something this complex. Like normal pen and paper campaigns, but you can play along without a group? Okay. Just offline with a book. Hello, Mr. Developy person. They made a Telltale Batman and Back to the Future. Why are we talking about Telltale? Did I miss something? I must have missed something. This is glad I went cam on my playthrough. I didn't want to go cam. I'm not really a huge fan of the cam. I missed you. Oh God. We could kiss him. Yeah, let's kiss him. Let's do it. He laughs, then seems to realize you're serious. Your sire slips inside, then steps back until you're pressed right against him. Oh my goodness, his lips are soft, his teeth very sharp. You linger there together. I don't like that I had to say, I missed you, like that. That I don't like, because that's so not me, but whatever. Maybe it's this character. You linger there together, then he slips away and says, oh, I ran into some hunters. Can I wash my hands? He holds them up. They're both covered in blood up to the elbow. While cleaning up in your bathroom, your sire says, how are you planning on getting the info from Despine? I was going to start by being polite and then threatening to kick the shit out of her if she made a fuss. No. She'll probably want some kind of favor. I'll see what sort of agreement we can reach as long as it doesn't cost me too much. Probably. That seems to be the pattern of everyone. She's going to try to screw you, you know, Julian says from the bathroom. But you have the right attitude. Never forget that most established Camarilla would rather die than deal fairly. Despine is going to start making demands the moment you show up, and that assumes you can even get in. It's not that exclusive, you say. You check your professional wardrobe. No bloodstains. The head bouncer is undercover FBI, Julian says. Part of their special affairs division, which deals with canine activity. Despine doesn't know. Whatever you do, don't just walk in. Once you're in, don't trust Despine. And once you have her information, obviously, I'm going to want a copy. If it fucks with the Camarilla, I'm in. Just don't let it get traced back to me. No one will know it's you. Just get me that information. I'll make a copy and then you can hand it over to Lettau. Easy. He peels off his bloody hoodie, drops it in your sink, and gets ready to leave. And watch yourself, Huddy. Hunters are everywhere, and they don't all die as easy as the kids I just left in a dumpster. Charming. Dallas isn't a walking city, but sidewalks lead all the way from your apartment to the jazz club. You check out the crowd. The line isn't long, but the people outside look sharp. The bouncer Julian warned you about is outside talking on his phone. You recognize him from Camp Scheffler. You cross the street before he notices you and consider what to do. You need to know who at the cinder block is compromised and in what ways before you can even think about approaching Despine. A cursory investigation of the jazz club's exterior turns up a few avenues of investigation you might pursue. If you're in the mood for some old-fashioned sleuthing, the club doesn't guard its trash very well. With enough patience, you could dig through that. You could also try talking to people. Petty criminals hang around the cinder block just like at the Viper, and if you don't act the fool, you can learn things for a modest fee. Or you could just drift as close as you can to the line outside and listen, though you'd have to play it cool to not draw attention. And if you want to get dangerous, you could try testing the cinder block security system, not to get in, just to see how they react. You'd have to be clever, though, to avoid getting caught. Or you could stay away from the club entirely. If that bouncer used to work for the feds, you might be able to hack into some badly secured government websites to learn more about him. Or you could focus on the club itself, not the bouncer. What sort of records might you turn up about its finances and its dealings? Well, I don't have a computer with me, so that won't be very good. I need to feed. Where can I hunt around here? Do I? Am I hungry? God, I always leave Tucson not hungry, or with just one hunger. God, I just need to diablerize, or just kill someone so I can just have no hunger for a second. Yeah. Though it'll cost me a night, I focus my blood and willpower to mend the aggravated damage I suffer. Yeah, let's do that. You spend all night repairing your body's aggravated damage. Your thirst for blood means you are now in a hunger frenzy and cannot think clearly unless you try to feed or focus. Blood. I need blood. I don't care if we eat someone, it's fine. You don't want to hunt anywhere near the cinder block since that might draw attention, but that still leaves the entire Dallas-Fort Worth metropolitan area. Nonetheless, this won't be easy. The Second Inquisition just finished their rampage, and even though the city looks normal, there's an edge to it, like it might explode again at the slightest provocation. So you better not provoke anyone. The higher-end clubs have a bad energy, like they're being watched. So if you want to hit the scene, you're going to end up somewhere dangerous, somewhere street smarts and staying cool are going to be more important than charm or dance moves. Bars and cafes seem relatively safe if you're looking to fuck your dinner. There are lots of pretty young things out tonight. Pretty young thing. Totally unaware that a major battle just tore through their city. A bit of charm, a bit of deception, and you should be able to get what you want. Just kicking someone's ass and taking their blood. So this is just basically going over Siren, Osiris, Alley Cat, kicking someone's ass. There isn't a lot of large animal prey around Dallas, but the bad parts of town have plenty of rats. It's an unglamorous way to spend the night, but quick hands would let you drink your fill of vermin before the dawn. Finally, Dallas is in chaos and the prince destroyed or missing. You're not even sure where you'd begin looking for blood. You don't want to risk a break-in with the SI everywhere, but you might be able to investigate your cell's connections and gain access that way. I'm not sure if that's referencing Sandman or not. So, I want to grab rats, obviously. Where's the rats option? Yeah, fade from sight and start grabbing rats. Hungry, wounded, lusting after Julian. Damn straight. I missed you, vampire daddy. I know. Like I said, that's the way I want to roleplay this character, is that, you know, there's something about Julian that just sucks her in, and obviously he's gonna hurt her again. So that's just the character I'm roleplaying, but I would never say, oh my god, I missed you. I would never say that. It would never happen. Hey, ratatouille is tasty. Many kindred who prey on animals rely on the excitement of the hunt to replace the almost spiritual resonance provided by human blood. You're not getting that tonight. You take your BMW to northwest Dallas, almost within sight of the sprawling loop where Interstate 635 hits the I-35 Express, and park in a barren wasteland behind a bunch of chain restaurants. The dumpsters are overflowing. You eat well that night. Nothing tastes good, but it's fun to plunge your hand into cracks in the cement and pull out a wriggling, squealing rat. You leave heaps of desiccated little corpses in your wake. That's not suspicious, right? By midnight, you're sated and head on home. So I'm down to 1 hunger, right? 3 hunger? No. I could heal some more wounds, but I'm not gonna, because that's gonna make me hungrier. But I don't have any more aggravated damage, so that's fine. How do I want to approach this stupid club, though? None of these are going to help me. I'm not smart. I'm not smart. Why aren't I smart? I just play it cool and wander around outside. That's good. It's composure plus awareness. My composure is what? 2? And my awareness is 1, right? Nothing. I got intelligence, 3 dexterity. I wanna try and play it cool. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna be a good roll, but I just want to so badly because it sounds hysterical. But let's steal trash, I guess. Steal trash, right? Nah, let's work fast and test their security system. I could just steal trash, but the cinder block is located in the middle of a decaying industrial neighborhood, almost within sight of the broad greenway that surrounds the Trinity River. It's an odd location for a jazz club, but that hasn't limited its popularity. It does limit the directions you can flee if things go wrong, though. You get to work with flashlights, screwdrivers, and voltmeters testing the cinder block's defenses. The cinder block is locked down with military efficiency. Cameras are everywhere and coverage is smart. When you pen test the side door, a woman you thought was a waitress closes in on your location with the smooth, predatory stride of a professional enforcer. You end up hiding behind a broken-down food truck for most of the night, then beating a hasty retreat. 4 of the cinder block security personnel follow you for blocks until you're finally able to lose them in the tall grass south of the jazz club. They're going to be on alert for you now, though. The next night... God damn it. So bad. Do I have to just be bad at everything? That's the whole thing? Is I'm just bad at everything? Tasty Dumptera. Etiquette demands you pass the salt for my rat. So that was obviously a terrible roll. Um, all right, let's go steal their trash. Let's steal their trash. God damn it. Step 1 is getting the trash. Though it's not exactly guarded, people are always moving around in the streets and parking lots near the cinder block. You bide your time, then move when there's some action in the main entrance, someone getting thrown out looks like. Moving quickly, you back up your BMW and throw the cinder block's trash in the back. You throw a tarp down in the apartment's kitchen and start sorting. You work all night and don't get anywhere. Worse, when you glance out the window, hiccup, you see a truck parked across the street that wasn't there before. How many people are watching you? You need to dispose of this trash before it gets you into trouble. Christ. I'm worried that the people know where my apartment is and I can't waste more time. I enter the cinder block. I'm gonna have to because this just isn't working. This isn't working. Nothing's working. Yeah. Nothing's working. Just go in. Nothing's working. You bide your time until the head bouncer goes inside and the new guy at the door is someone who's never looked your way before. You're able to slip inside without a problem. The cinder block is a jazz club, and from the posters outside, most nights that means hip-hop or Afro-Caribbean dance music. But tonight it's real 20th century jazz. A quartet is jamming on the stage while their singer, resplendent in her red sequin dress, drinks and flirts with a few old and important-looking men. You spot a silver-haired Ukrainian mobster. How can you tell he's Ukrainian just from looking at him? That's not easy. Times like these reminds me why I'm glad I got an intelligence character. I'm really good at resolve. I have a lot of resolve and a lot of dexterity and a lot of stamina, but that's about it. Note to self, don't do detective work. Yeah, terrible. I'm not smart. My wits and intelligence are not good. He's sitting at a midnight blue table negotiating with a young black man with a silver-tipped cane. You get just close enough to overhear a few words without them noticing you. More than my people can use now, the black man says in a pronounced French-Haitian accent, which I obviously can't do. Girls, the mobster asks, his expression skeptical. Girls, boys, new kinds of beautiful creatures we did not have when we were young. All very fine, though. Only the best for you, Victor. The best of what you don't want, you mean, Victor says. They all laugh. You keep moving. As the music switches from low-key jazz to swing and the crowd floods the dance floor, you spot Despine. She's looking right at you. I have no information about you at all, but you look gorgeous, darling. You look absolutely fabulous. I don't know a thing about you now. You know the esthete only by reputation and description. She barely survived the fall of Toussaint's last prince and fled here to rebuild. Most kindred grow thinner and become more still and corpse-like as they age, but Despine is big and energetic with a huge red smile and hypnotic eyes. Curls of black hair cascade down her broad back, swirling as she tilts her head to study you. She's always in motion, like a fledgling, her dark face artfully touched with cosmetics. She looks away and whispers to a slim and beautiful man seated beside her. He stands up, moving with impossible elegance. You've heard that the esthete conducts surgery on her ghouls to improve them. The ghoul moves, so you, Despine, and he form an equilateral triangle. You look for the head bouncer and don't see him. It's time to approach Despine. But how? But how? Okay, so I could use my resolve plus my investigation, which isn't awful. I'd let Despine know I have information she wants and might draw the SI's attention, but I clear out her hangers-on and tell her who her head bouncer works for. No. I need an introduction from one of her people. I hit the bar, take my time, and listen to the crowd to figure out who can help me. Please, come on. Come on, Resolve. Help me out here. The bar is hopping, just as the crowd orders complicated old-timey cocktails and preens for each other. Like a rosewater wiki. I can't talk. Rosewater wiki. That's an old-timey. Or an old-fashioned. That's also an old-timey drink. Note to self, I hope they'll do this kind of artwork for Out for Blood and Parliament of Knives. I am very excited for Out for Blood because one of the aspects of the World of Darkness I know the least about probably is Hunter the Reckoning. So I'm very excited for Out for Blood. Don't eat pizza type. I understood what you meant. Please, it's the internet. You're just getting worried about making no headway when you spot a familiar face. Millicent, of Millicent's, the bar back at Camp Shuffler, is seated at the edge of the bar with a tally counter clicker and a notebook. She's still dressed like a librarian. You don't approach Millicent right away. Instead, you listen as she talks to an underling. But she quickly notices your presence and inches away. A moment later, a massive hand falls on your shoulder. "Ah, it's Courier," a heavily accented voice says. "American lunatic, yes? No hiding at bar, friend. You come with me to see Despine. Now." People are watching, so you don't dare struggle as the Russian from Camp Shuffler frog marches you in front of Despine. The aesthete doesn't let surprise or irritation show on her face as your arrival interrupts her. "Ah, this is Huddy, Prince Lettau's courier, right?" Despine says. "What an unexpected surprise. But I'm sure you're here for a good reason." Her expression says you damn well better be here for a good reason. "Do you have something for me?" "Prince Lettau needs information," you say. "Why doesn't everyone hit the dance floor for a few minutes?" Despine says. Her elegant followers leave in a casual way that still makes it clear that they obey her and only her. "I hear Tucson is a mess," Despine says. The aesthete studies the crowd as the jazz music picks up, then says, "We're all in trouble nowadays, Huddy. So tell me, what can you offer Despine in exchange for the information Lettau wants?" An opening gambit to let Despine feel out your loyalties. You consider what to say. "I'm curious, actually. What is the information I'm supposed to be picking up? In general." Despine shrugs and says, "Lettau was a traveler before he ended up in Tucson. Like you, except he had a plane instead of a car. I like to stay in one place, but I have connections all over the world. He wants one of those connections." "Is he going to run?" you ask. "If it gets bad enough, yes," Despine says. "You don't survive 2.5 centuries by going down with the ship." There was a Hunter the Reckoning game for GameCube and Xbox. I remember it was fun, a Diablo-style thing. I had not known that. I did not know that. I'll look into it. That's interesting. "This place is riddled with spies," Despine says, watching the head bouncer from beneath heavy-lidded eyes. "Which brings me to what I want from you." Her eyes are cold and hard. You sit back and wait. This isn't going to be easy. Despine takes her time. Toreador are lovers of beauty, and to be fair to Despine, the jazz band is excellent. But finally she says, "I'm going to need to deal with a lot of problems at the same time. Let's talk about which ones concern you. First, that little Malay girl who's been watching me." Despine's eyes leads you to a young woman in a long coat who blended in with the crowd until now. You recognize Julian's assistant, Nadia. "I want her gone." Julian wouldn't forgive you for that, even if gone doesn't mean dead in a ditch, but Prince Lettau won't forgive failure here either. "I also suspect one of my bouncers. He might be working for someone else, the prince, if she's still in one piece, or hunters. But I can't just get rid of him. I need someone to feed him false information. And of course," Despine says, "the SI hasn't just dragged kindred out of their havens and burned them. They've attacked us financially." "They've frozen your bank accounts?" you ask. "Not exactly," Despine says, "but we're being monitored. Our cash can't move freely, and if I use my powers, it's likely someone in the SI will notice that a bank just did me a favor for no real reason." "You need money," you say. "Another $5,000 will mean I'm clear to operate again without the Second Inquisition's financial team sniffing around." "You're hitting me up for money?" you say. "You could pay that, but that's what Lettau owes you for this job. It's a cash flow problem," Despine says. "You'll help it flow again. Isn't that good for everyone?" Really? $5,000? Really? $5,000? I'm also interested in improving my supernatural powers, actually. "Well, who am I to say no to a neonate looking to better herself through education and hard work?" Despine says, flashing a big, red-lipped smile. "As you know, the kindred of Clan Toreador are seers of some accomplishment, and our powers of awe are unparalleled. whatever those blue bloods claim. And though we do not discuss it often, we can move faster than a thought when we need to. I've worked for years to teach my ghouls that trick, though I could teach you a lot faster, I reckon. Oh, and one other thing. She looks around conspiratorially, though she's smiling when she raises her hand. It ripples and transforms, and her lacquered nails grow 3 inches, only for a second. We got a lot of outlanders here in Texas. Rough types, you know. Not like Lettau. Anarchs. I learned a few things from them to help me with my flesh shaping. And if you help me out, I'll put a drop of my blood on your tongue and teach you the basics. Disciplines available from Despine, Auspex, Celerity, Presence, and Protean. I would very much be interested in Auspex, because I don't think I have that one available. I'll also be interested in Protean, but I think I already have that one available. Yeah, so really? $5,000? Money makes the world go round, Huddy, Despine says. Pay me, and you can walk out with a case full of the data Lettau wants, right now. I don't want to pay her. I can end this now with a fistful of cash. I crisscross town, take out $5,000, and I hand Despine money. No, not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. I'm not gonna deal with Nadia either. I'm not spending money for Lettau's job. Give me an IOU with the data and I'll deliver it to the Prince of Tucson and he'll pay you. My claws are bigger. Sorry, Huddy, Despine says. But the truth is I'm not sure you can get back to Tucson with my information or my IOU. Then how is someone going to get back? I'll take my promises in cash. I'm not giving her money. It's not going to happen. The head bouncer, first things first, you know he works for the SI, right? Despine keeps her expression carefully neutral, but you can see her fitting together a lot of pieces. Finally, she says, that might just make our work easier. Here's what I know. From what I've seen of the SI, they're a confused group of overlapping government agencies that barely understand what we are. They're desperate for more information, even if it's bad. I've been going through my files from the 90s, back before I had this place, or the Bruja quit and the Assamites showed up, you know? Yeah, I do. All this information, it looks really good, real up to date, but I've been going through it and it's wrong. Dangerously wrong. And I made some changes and it's so wrong, it's basically a weapon. Get it to Louis, and he'll bring it right back to his masters, like a bomb. Oh, God. I love this trap within a trap scheme to ensnare the head bouncer, and it lets me avoid harming Nadia or Julian. Let's fool that bouncer. I had my suspicions about Louis, Despine says from the disorganized desk of her modest office, but the SI. She glances at Millicent. The bartender nods in confirmation. Millie, get Yuri and the other Russian, that woman who worked for the GRU. Let them know we're going to need someone killed. I thought Huddy was going to, and if she can't, Despine says, the Russians will deal with him, so be a dear and tell them to get ready. When Millicent leaves, Despine hands you a thick manila envelope full of dangerously outdated information. You skim it. Now irrelevant kindred power brokers, long destroyed princes, political contacts that the Camarilla abandoned years ago. Hiccup. Everything dated to look like it's recent. Trying to exploit any of this information will get a hunter killed. I don't care how you get this to Louis, she says, but get it to him in a way that lets him believe it's valuable. Oh boy. IOU time, how do you get paid? How do you gotta get paid? Give me my money. Money me, money now. Need money. That game is older than I remember. Hunter is from 2002. How old was I in 2002? 14. Sounds like Huddy needs to do a burglary job. Yep. Just when you think it's all going smooth, I tell you, nobody expects the Second Inquisition. Nobody expects the Second Inquisition. Oh, they're so annoying, though. That's why I'm really looking forward, because most of the time I'm just super annoyed at the Second Inquisition, so I'm really looking forward to playing Hunter the Reckoning when that comes out, which I believe it's coming out in spring of next year is when it's slated to come out. Because I would love to turn the tables and be like, I gotta kill all those blank bodies. I just really enjoy that. Stepping back into the jazz club late that night with your parcel, you consider what to do. You can't just hand Louis the parcel. You need to lure him in. Like every good con, it requires a mark who wants what you have. Millicent is reluctant to help you, but she finally offers you the address of Louis' nearby townhouse. The other security personnel are watching you suspiciously, though. You'll have to be careful. The address isn't obviously useful because it's not like you're robbing him. You're trying to get him to rob you. Still, knowing where he lives lets you track his movements, to the cinder block, to the gym, to a 24-hour diner where he ends each long night. You have a few ways to convince Louis to go for the package of bad data, but you know you'll only have one shot at this. And there's one other problem. If you lose this parcel, it's a major breach of the Masquerade, even if the information is out of date. All right. Damn it. Nothing with resolve. Nothing with resolve and nothing with stamina. I think our best bet is going to rely on obfuscate since we have 3 dots in obfuscate. So we're going to lure him into pursuing us and then use obfuscate to disappear and just like drop it on the floor. That's going to be our best bet here because we are not smart. We're not smart enough for this stuff. Ugh. Now that you know the bouncer's favored routes around his townhouse and the cinder block, you're able to work out the best place for him to spot you. This deserted strip of road between a weedy lot and an abandoned drive-thru restaurant gives you plenty of ways to break line of sight so you can catch Louis' attention without catching his bullets. A busy convenience store is around the corner, but within running distance if you need social cover. It takes you a night for Louis to see you, but you're sure he recognizes you. Then, early one evening, as the streetlights are still flickering on, you grab the parcel and head back to the deserted road. Louis moves fast when he sees you, armed with a bullpup rifle that he keeps low until he's sure he's identified his target. Freeze, fucker! He's identified the target. Crap. Oh, thank God, something we investigated. Yeah, I invested dots in something. I invested dots in resolve and obfuscate and drive. That's it. That's really all I've spent my stuff on. Obfuscate is really the MVP disciplines in this game. Awesome, I got both of them. You take a single step back and the old menu board of the drive-thru blocks line of sight. But it's not enough to stop a bullet. Louis squeezes off a burst and a round tears through your hip, chipping the bone. You fall with a surprised yell and drop the parcel. Awesome. You crawl for cover, getting around the corner of the abandoned drive-thru just as Louis appears, rifle first. You stop and listen. Then you regain your feet and peek around the corner. You picked the right place. The hunter has lost you. From where he's standing, he has a great view of the other parts of the parking lot, and he's under some cover so he feels safe. Then he notices the parcel. Come on, pick it up. He scans the shadows one more time. Pick it up! Police sirens start up in the distance, responding to the gunfire. Louis grabs the parcel and runs. Got him. You hurry across the street in the other direction. You just hurry across the street, okay, checking to make sure the agent isn't right behind you, and get out of there. It looks like you're clear. You head back to the cinder block. Yes. We did it. We lost a piece of our hip, but we did it. Hard copies, of course. I lost my accent for a second. Despine says from around the corner as she unlocks a metal safe in her modest and cluttered office. She hands you a slimline briefcase with everything Lettau asked for. What about Louis? You asked. Gone, Despine says. Vanished with the bad data. I don't know if he'll use it. Louis was nobody's fool, but it got him out of our hair. Fine work. If Louis is gone, you did your job. You examine the briefcase. Now, she says, tugging off one elbow-length glove. I believe you wanted to learn something. Her fingers ripple with the strange arts she's learned from the Outlanders. You do want to learn, but you remember Julian's lesson, and you know that in your current mentally exhausted state, any attempt to drink Despine's blood will end with you latching onto her wrist, and a few minutes or weeks later, your destruction. You make your excuses and back away before you give in to temptation. Great. Don't get to learn anything. Damn Banu Haqims. Despine gestures to the briefcase and says, There's everything you need. She also hands you the registration information for a motel room outside El Paso, so you have a place to stay on the way back. How pleasant. You pick up the briefcase and leave the cinder block. After one last day spent resting in the Dallas apartment, you pack up, wipe any signs that you were ever there, and get out of town using side streets to avoid pursuit. You're back on the highway in less than an hour. Your nerves are rattled the whole drive. You feel eyes on you, and once you hear helicopters overhead. The motel outside El Paso seems secure, though Julian's thrall Nadia shows up just a few minutes before dawn. "Here to scan briefcase, Despine sent you," she says. "Protein and fortitude serve you well, okay." "Well, I can't get a Banu Haqim and I would have Diablerized her." "Why didn't you let me Diablerize her?" Oh, man. One humanity left after that mission. God. Full hunger and no disciplines in the biosphere? That sucks. Yeah, Banu Haqim do go into a blood frenzy when they drink Kindred Vitae. Not for free, you aren't. After some haggling and a few threats about how unhappy Julian will be that she's being treated this way, Nadia agrees to hand over $2,000. You let her in. My number one romance in this game is money. She drags her suitcase inside and assembles a device that looks like a smaller version of the ground imaging kit you brought to Red Mesa. Her scanning takes less than 10 minutes, then she hurries out of there. The next night, just like the first night, you spot cars following you for miles and miles. Once you're passed by a Tesla truck doing well over 100 miles per hour. But no one makes a move. You take side streets into Tucson, top off your gas tank just in case, but no one comes for you. You roll into the Viper parking lot. They see me rolling. They hatin'. The Viper is packed when you roll into the parking lot. Too packed, you think. The crowd is spilling outside, partying, drinking. Who's running security tonight? The main door is jammed with people, so you take the fire escape up to the Viper's hidden rooftop Elysium. There's an unpleasant ripple of darkness as you cross the threshold. The Elysium is empty. So is the glass box that overlooks the dance floor, which is dangerously overcrowded, the private feeding rooms where the blood dolls hang out, and the hall outside Prince Lettau's office. And you smell fire and blood. It's muted, but present. Looking out from the rooftop Elysium, you can see cars passing by. Normally, the shadow energy of this place makes their headlights almost invisible, but they seem brighter now. Uh-oh, what happened? Oh, God. Okay. I checked the dirt upstairs and the carpeting downstairs for footprints, blood, or bloody footprints, because that is my best. Unless there's something with stamina here, which I never see anything with stamina. Yep. More investigation, because we're real smart and good at it. Not. There was definitely some sort of disturbance upstairs, but you can't make sense of it. Frustrated, you range up and down the Viper until finally you notice a smear of blood on the wall of the stairwell. You spot another drop of blood on the carpet outside one of the sitting areas. Hiccup. Maybe someone stumbled toward Prince Lettau's office without anything else to go on. You lead to the hallway outside the prince's office to a strange dark wall. Is the wall stained? You look up and spot dark spots that look like water damage. Hiccup. It does rain in Tucson every now and then, and it really looks like a stain dripping down the wall. But it's not water. It is, you realize, not even really there. The shadows woven into the Elysium upstairs are starting to unravel, or drip, or rot. Whatever is happening, the stains of darkness are dripping down to the lower levels, blurring your vision and senses. You peer through the blurry area and realize that there's just a gate there. You've passed it before, but you can't quite see through it, so you carefully open the gate and peer inside. The smell of blood hits you before you can see anything. The room is a bare cement cube with a single table, like a lab bench, beneath a single watery yellow ceiling light. The far wall ends in another gate, this one larger and locked. You count 3 corpses on the floor, maybe more behind the gate, and Alexander. The old ghoul is lying on the far wall with an empty revolver holding in his guts. Oh, poor fella. It looks like he came through another door to your left, which is now locked. "Huddy," Alexander says, spitting blood.
He was here all along. Julian Sim. We kept looking for his headquarters. It was here. The same place.
Oh, crap. He's dying anyway, so I drain him dry? That doesn't sound like me. That doesn't sound like me. I am really hungry, though. I'll give him some blood to keep him alive, I guess. Should I drain him dry? I don't want to. I mean, I'll lose humanity if I do that. But I want more information from him. I mean, I could try doing an intelligence thing to stabilize him. I could try doing that, because I really don't have that much blood to give him. I wait for him to die and then search him. My god. Bleeding out? How hungry are we? We're very hungry. We're 4 hunger. I kind of feel like I couldn't resist draining him dry, but I'm gonna attempt to stabilize him with my really bad intelligence. You still get a chance for blood after this? Okay. I'm gonna try to stabilize him. The first thing you do is run to one of the lounges. Most have medical kits in case a feeding gets out of control. You find one and race back to Alexander.
Listen to me, Huddy,
he says. You work diligently, but you know it's hopeless. He waves you aside. The old ghoul is doped to the gills, but whatever iron will has allowed him to serve for centuries now allows him to open his eyes and fix them on you.
Listen, Huddy,
he wheezes. I guess I failed with that.
We finally found where Julian Sim's headquarters were. They were here. He used Jasper No's shadow sorcery to hide his entire operation, and when we found him, he had just finished his 2100 program. That's why the fighting started.
He tries to draw another breath to say more, then gasps, wheezes, and slumps over dead. You run your hands under his jacket and find 2 interesting items. First, there's your payment. Alexander must have been getting ready for your return when all this happened. Second, there's an object in his jacket pocket a little smaller than a deck of cards. It's made of glass and steel and appears to hold a few drops of blood. The back says 2100 program next to a little Karambit logo. That, a voice says from behind the iron gate, is not yours. Nadia, Julian's retainer, stands on the far side of the locked gate, her expression determined. She's wearing all black except for a poison green tudung. I trust you will be returning it to him. I'll return it. What's it worth to him? More money? More money for me? Nadia rolls her eyes. I'm sure Julian can make it worthwhile to you if your help has a price, Nadia says. For now, it's probably safer in your hands than... Huddy, your hand! The rectangular glass case has cracked, and as you watch, shimmering vitae drips down the metal, then over your wrist. It instantly sinks into your skin, then explodes through your veins. And then nothing. You move... That's what I get for being greedy. You move the invading blood through your body, feeling no ill effects. Still, that can't be good. Damn it, Nadia says. Congratulations, Huddy. Now you're in the 2100 program. You don't have much time before... A spray of gunfire from behind her causes Nadia to spin around. A man appears in the other room, fires another quick burst, and gestures for Nadia to follow. The man wears a face-concealing bike helmet and a black motorcycle suit trimmed with gold. You recognize the trim because it matches the IROCZ. So here's the driver. You don't know his name. Maybe he's just Z, the only letter on his outfit not torn away by abrasion. Okay. I don't remember that. IROCZ, I don't remember that, what that is. I'll just take it at face value. The SI is here. Contact me, the retainer says as she follows Z, what else should you call him, out of the room. You can hear radio chatter downstairs, police, hunting you. But when you check the dance floor, the place is still open. It's packed, but you feel police and hunters moving in. Yep. I mean, I could feed on the people on the dance floor. Yep, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm starving. You repeat the trick until you're satisfied, then head for your car. I'm starving! Lay off me, I'm starving! He rolls badly. Huddy stabs Alexander. There, that'll fix you. I'm unlucky in rolls even when I'm playing Vampire. If we develop claws, can you call it Huddy Weapon X? That's absolutely what we're going to call it. Yeah, money! I need money! Money is my #1 love, apparently, in this game. The main parking lot is crawling with plainclothes police, and there are Buick Avenires parked across the street. You head for your BMW, then head back around the corner when you spot a police cruiser rolling through the lot. Hiding for a moment, you look back to the rear of the Viper and spot 3 rides you recognize. Dove's Chrysler 300, Carlos's AE86, and the Lotus Esprit Turbo that belonged to Miguel, that retainer of Dove's who died at Camp Scheffler. The bad news is that a fight raged around them earlier. All have taken serious damage. The good news is all the shattered glass. Since they're all older cars, you could just reach in and hotwire one. Whatever you do, you realize you need to turn your thoughts not just to your modest assets in Tucson, but to moving them. However things shake out over the next few nights, you doubt that you'll be able to stay in Tucson for much longer. Well, I'm really glad I bought that apartment then. That being the case, you need to make sure you have a good set of wheels. Christ. I check out the AE86. This is Carlos's Corolla, as Prince Lettau calls it, an aggressive little 80s hot hatch in maroon, extensively modded for increased performance. Despite the mods, it looks tough and well maintained, except for all the bullet holes, and its regular left-hand drive, despite its inextricable links to Japanese racing culture. So you can go to a Wendy's drive-thru and not have a problem. That's nice. Yeah. Yeah, I'll take the Toyota. That's sweet. I'll take the Toyota. You settle into the AE86. I don't know enough about cars. Just like, if it's fast, it's red, it's cool. You keep the punchy engine under control as you roll away from the Viper. In the rearview mirror, you can see police shutting the club down. You think you've lost them as you roll down West Alameda Street, but as you turn onto North Granada, 4 black Avenires move to box you in. Those damn SUVs have chased you since your first trip to the Viper. Yeah, money is my first love. My first and only and last. I can't deny my first love, ever. I can't. Oh, great. Composure and manipulation plus drive or subterfuge. Alright, so composure 2, manipulation 1, so not that one. Intelligence and drive. We got 3, drive or streetwise. So probably that one. What's charisma? What's my charisma? Garbage. All garbage. All right. I use my knowledge of the streets to dart down a side road no one else knows about. I'm the smart one here after all. Yeah, let's see how well we roll. See how smart we are. Holy God. You know where you are. You're about to cross West Franklin Street where that impound lot is located. You take a hard right and dodge around traffic, leaving at least one Buick stranded. But the others close in, and in your haste to escape, you clip a U-Haul. Nice. But that causes you to bounce to the other side of the street, blocking the agent's line of sight. You see your target and flick the wheel when you see the Franklin Street impound, darting between its chain link fence and a methadone clinic. You're so quick and clever that the SUVs never see your little trick. They race right past and lose you. You hide for the better part of an hour, listening to police broadcasts and the local news until you're sure that the action has been confined to the Viper. But when you try to restart your AE86, it only wheezes. With cops everywhere in Tucson tonight, you don't have time to make repairs or strip the car for parts. You just get out of the alley you're hiding in. Walking back to the penthouse lets you dodge patrols. You watch your haven for an hour, but it doesn't look like the SI has found it yet. You return to your penthouse. You check your earnings from your partial stake in St. Basil's Hospital, then spend $1,418 on upkeep, maintenance, fines, and fees to perpetuate your Twilight existence. Why so much money? Why? I need that money. Oh, I can't go anywhere. Why? Why? Oh, come on. Can't we just obfuscate the car? Oh my god, we smart. Look at me smart. I thought we could obfuscate the car. Obfuscate works kind of weird in this game where like you say obfuscate and then you're like, oh, you're getting shot because he can see you. That's not really what's supposed to happen. Anyway, how hungry are we? 2? I only have 1 willpower left. Ah, yikes. And I am severely injured. All right. I assume the next chapter is going to start, so it's probably where I'm going to end the game. So let's mend our wounds. Let's mend our wounds. I can't do fully, but I can do 3. Do 3. And then we need to eat. How do we eat? Feed on vagrants. I go back to feeding on animals. Yep. Yes. Animals. Animals is what I want to feed on. Oh, how's my hunger then? How's my hunger? Down to 1. I have 1 injury. That's good. Why do I have a masquerade violation? God damn it. Okay. I need a car, but I don't want to pay a lot of money. I contact my people and secure a loaner car. Well, how much money do I have? I mean, come on now. How much money do I have? I'm really glad I spent all that money on a penthouse. 13,000. That's pretty good. Let's go to Rainer's. Let's see. Oh, as you wait at a crosswalk, you spot Riga, Prince Lettau's eagle, Familius, perched on a streetlight. Her golden eyes are fixed on you. Curious, you cross diagonally instead of going straight when the walk sign flashes toward her, and she flaps away to another streetlight. She wants you to follow her. She'll have to wait. I'm trying to get a car. God damn it. Please wait. Riga flaps away when she realizes you're not following her, but you expect she'll be back. Rainer is in the back office, but you know he'll come running if you're interested in something. I'm interested in stuff. Yes. Yes, I am. I'm interested in the Acura. Yep, in the Acura. Whoa, look at all this stuff. Oh, man. Let me just click all of these. Damn, so I can just get the price on all of them. I just want to get the price on everything. I don't really want to read about the cars because I literally know nothing about cars. There are so many cars available now. Holy crap. Oh, sweet. Is there a Oldsmobile Impala here? Because that would be sweet. Look, some of them are like brand new cars. 50,000? That's what you guys were talking about earlier. Oh, it's a Lamborghini. Yeah, I'm totally gonna spend money on a Lamborghini that's just gonna get all destroyed in the desert. That makes sense. That's good. Ooh, a Dodge Challenger. That sounds fun. Is there anything that I can actually afford that's new, or am I just doing this just to laugh at how expensive everything is? Yep. And finally, I examined the 1984 Porsche, or Porsche. Depending if you want to sound posh or not. All right, look at all this crap. All right, the 2008 Mercedes-Benz, how good is it? I don't want to buy it, but how good is it? Pretty good. I don't want to spend all my money on it, though, so no. How about no? How about NO? How's the Toyota Supra? How's the Toyota Supra? Sucks. Terrible. I don't want it. How's the Audi? I take that. I take the 2001 Audi. Just gonna check 2 more things. The Mazda and the Saab. Man, the Acura is still pretty good. Still feel like I should take the Acura, but I'm gonna take the Saab. Or the Audi. The Audi TT for 6,000. That's what I'm taking. I'll take that. You jump into the silver Audi TT and bolt out of Rainer's used car, accelerating hard and dodging around traffic. Yeah, I don't care about Riga right now. I have things I want to do. Yeah. Let's try and get smarter. You start to drive, but after only a few blocks, you feel your heart start up. Your pulse hammers in your temples. You pull over to the side of the road as Tucson flows like water around you and the 2100 vitae pounds in your veins. You see yourself and Julian from above. You're in the tomb again. No, Isla's in the tomb. And the vision fades. The echoes of Isla that have haunted you since your return to Tucson fade with them. Is she gone? You pull back into traffic. I want to get smarter. I need to get smarter. It's terrible. Yeah. Intelligence would cost me 12 points, and I think I'm going to actually take it because so many roles involve intelligence, and my intelligence is garbage. So I'm actually going to take it. I'll take the intelligence. Okay. Now, I wait for Riga to appear. Yeah, I will. I need more information about the blood that just flowed to my veins from this 2100 vial. Now let's go see what Riga wants. You start to follow, but from the grim expression on the eagle's face, you know that wherever she's taking you, you might not be coming back. You'll have time for one final feeding, and that's it. Okay, let's try and find out about the vial of blood then. The 2100 vial. Hunger is basically 6, yeah. Mercedes-Benz S-Class, that's my ride. It does come in black, it's nice. The Mercedes is just a basic upgrade. Yeah, it's too expensive, I can't. Excuse me, sir, I would like to eat some book. We want to be smart. Oh, man. Alright, so we want to find out more about this weird blood stuff that got inside of us. You still have the small rectangular container of glass and brushed steel that apparently held Julian's whole operation. But you can see the hairline fractures and you felt the blood creep into your body without apparent effect. You should learn more. I am working for Julian. I just get in touch with one of his people. Yeah, that's basically what I should do. Your first stop is fine motor skills, but none of his people there know how to get in touch with him. Next, you try cycling through some of his old emails and phone numbers. You take precautions, of course, VNPs, like VPNs, payphones, but the result is total silence. You can't find Nadia, and while you spend a night investigating the little carom bits scratched all over the city, they only lead to dead ends. Julian is lying low, so low that he doesn't even know you need to contact him. You'll have to try something else. Julian must have sourced this file from a biomedical equipment manufacturer. Put my technical knowledge to work, try to track it down. I'm smarter now, so this should work. You head to the University of Arizona's biomedical wing and begin your analysis of the rectangular vial, starting with the serial number and model number on the back. A night of making calls and tracking down obscure websites turns up only limited information. The case was manufactured by a glass company that also provides medical glassware to Kiowa Xenogenetics. But that's as much as you can figure out. Your best guess is that this vial was some kind of blood sorcery apparatus, now damaged beyond repair. Its contents now flowing through your bloodstream. Worse, as you leave the university, you spot a beat-up Volvo station wagon following you. Your instincts say, Hunter, you've tipped someone off. You managed to lose him, but you know how careful you need to be in Tucson right now. Alright, let's go follow Riga now. There we go. Okay, and that is where I'm going to end it because, as I said in the beginning of this stream, I was advised by Jason Hill to end my stream at the beginning of a chapter because they are updating it in about 10 minutes. They're going to update this game, so I don't want to have to rewind a whole bunch of stuff and redo it again without you guys here. But that was super fun. We've done 2 more missions, so that brings up a total of, 6 missions we've done for the prince, and I have no idea what's going on with Julian. I have no idea what was in that, whatever you call it, petri dish or one of those things you look through a microscope with, slide. I have no idea what was in that, and now it's inside of us. I have no idea what's going on with the prince and what's going to happen to the Camarilla in Tucson, but I'm really, really excited to find out. So I will be back here streaming at the exact same time tomorrow. I hope you guys had a good time. Thank you so much for making me laugh so much in the chat. It was absolutely delightful. And yeah,